if you are not getting what you desire, you're not happy with things going on in your life, then there's a bad tree somewhere in your midst. And the tree is in your head. There's bad information in there. You're identifying with bad things. You're identifying with things that are giving you unpleasant experiences. So the first tree you need to check and maybe cut down is that negative tree that you have allowed to sprout in your brain or in your mind. A lot of us want to believe that our mind is inside of this organic thing, right? That's where our mind is. But what if I told you your mind is not there at all? That brain is just a processor. It's either true or false, and takes information and okay, this is what we need to do. It's basically organic mechanic. Your mind is an energy field that surrounds you about 6 inches in front of you. It's the shield of energy that's why you can come close to people and you start picking up vibes, because you're picking up that energy. That's why when you can take your hand and put it here and you can kind of feel it, not just heat, but you can feel some type of energy surge. Like, see, I can feel that energy surge. That's your, what you call, spiritual radar. See, we so identifying with what we can see and think that's it. What you see is not it. What you see is the end result of your mind. That's the end part. That's the end game, okay? What you're seeing is the result of the manifestation of your consciousness. So if you can disconnect from what you can see and just concentrate on what you can't see, and that's how manifestation happens. That's how you bring about those things that you desire. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Say it again. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to go through something to accomplish something. It's too hard. That's too much. I hear people say it all the time. Man, that stuff you do, I couldn't do that. Working that hard and making all those phone calls, get those loads. I can't do it. That's too much. Basically what they're saying, it's easier for them to go work for somebody and be told what to do. That's what's easy. I think they just be talking when they say that. They don't really understand what they're saying. It's like Christ said when they had him up there, crucify him, and he said, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. And I'll say to that, forgive them, Father. They know not what they say. They don't know the consequences of their very words. They don't know. It's that simple. Do you realize that you're receiving your reward of every word that you utter out of your mouth? There's a saying in the church, power of life and death is in the tongue. And that is very true. The power of life and death is in your tongue. The power of success and failure is in your tongue, in the words you utter. Not just the words you utter, the words you think. Because the thinking of the words come before you actually speak it. You have to double down on it, meaning you have to contract with the word before you speak it, right? You think about it, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and you speak it. You think about it, then you decide to speak it. You create a contract with your consciousness. Oh, I accept what this is as the truth, and I'm going to speak it now so that I can solidify it and see that it comes forth. Out of the room. It was under Leslie C. Johnson or something like that. And because I did share screen. All right, so there's a distinction between a debt discharge and a debt paid. When discharged, the debt still exists through divested of its character as a legal obligation during the operation of the discharge. Something of the original vitality of the debt continues to exist, which may be transferred, even though the transferee takes it subject to its disability incident to the discharge. So what they're saying, if you discharge a debt, it doesn't necessarily go away. That debt is still can be collected on. They can pass it on. They can assign it to someone else. So too many people think too much. They think, man, I gotta have this. I think about what people gonna say, how they gonna react, blah, blah, blah. People gonna say and react how they going to react. You can't control that. You just gotta keep your mind focused on what you're trying to do. Stop getting focused on what people think. Stop caring so much about that. Am I saying be rude and hurt people's feelings? No. I'm talking about in the context of you creating your business and getting off the ground. People may reject it a lot right at first. There was a lot of ideas out there that was rejected a lot. The idea of selling water in a bottle that you can get out the tap free was rejected at first. The idea that we could fly somewhere on a plane in the air was rejected at first. Shoot, I always use these guys. Michael Jordan was rejected at first. Now he's a household name for whenever. Who knows? Still selling Michael Jordan sneakers, and he hasn't played in years. But he was rejected at first. So you must be rejected first before you get accepted. That's just part of the process. Because that means my church owns my businesses. One of the biggest churches examples out there that owns a lot of businesses, and that's the Catholic Church. It owns pretty much the 75% of the world. Yeah. And a lot of interest, most of the interest right here in the United States of America. Even that Social Security number that people playing with. All right? They got their hand in that. So you set that up. Somebody else is coming in again. Who is this? Admit. So set that up. You go to the California Secretary of State, and it's a very hard thing to find if you don't know where to look. And if we have time at the end, I'll go there and show you how to go get that. This certificate only costs $10. And then you get the certificate, you come. Hey, what up, everybody? It's make sure y'all can hear me. All right, it looks like everything's in order. What's going on, everybody? It's Sunday, October the 8th. We're already 8 days into October. That's a lot. Got a few more months, that's it. Got 2 months, 20 days? 2 months and 20 days. Wow, approximately. What are you going to do with the rest of this year? What decisions are you going to make about continuing to have us consistent and pushing towards those things you say you wanted at the beginning of the year? Because a new ritual is coming up. A new ritual is coming up, a new money ritual that we do every year, that's coming. So you got to start making plans now on what you're going to put down on that paper, and so that we can burn it up on that brown paper bag that we usually do. What are you thinking about for the coming year? Are you going to expand on what you already be consistent what you already started with? You're going to start something new. And some of you might have said you're going to do some stuff and didn't even get started. It's not too late. I mean, you're some months into the year, but it's not too late. If you can still breathe and you still have your health and you still have your conscious, your mind, you could always get started right now. You could just get started in your mind first, in your consciousness, and then act on it. act on it. That's the issue. We are not acting on the things we say we are going to do. We think about it, we know we need to do it, but we don't act on it. The best way to act on anything is, as soon as you think about it, do it. Like, for instance, I don't know why this popped in my head, but it did. Back in 1992, that was January of 1992. I lost a brother. My brother that's a year younger than me passed away without warning. Like, it was just turned 21. And that December, prior to Christmas, I was still living in New York. My parents had already moved down to South Carolina, and he decided to go down there to live with them. There's another backstory to that too. There's a lot with that, but I don't have time to talk about that. So the last time I saw him, he said, "Hey, I'm about to leave," and he let me borrow his rental car. So I borrowed the rental car, went out, hung out with the car and everything. And last time I saw him, he was sitting in the driver's seat, and I said, "Call me before you leave." He didn't do that. So he didn't call. I'm working at the World Trade Center at the time. And I said, I'm going to call him and get on his case about not calling me. That never happened. That's why you have to act on the things that you think about, because you don't know when you're going to be able to do it. That is why when I get a thought, I move, because I'm traumatized by that I won't have an opportunity to do this if I don't act now. I haven't talked about this in a long time. So just imagine you have a relative or you have something that you say you were inspired to do it. And I was inspired to make that phone call several times. I said, I'm going to call him. This is before the age of having a cell phone was a common thing. They had cell phones. They had those bag phones. And I said, I'm going to call him. And then one day I got a phone call, and it wasn't him. It was my little sister. So this thing that you say you want to work on, what are you waiting for? Till you can't do it no more? Till it's impossible? Till it's financially impossible? Your health is gone? Or maybe even your life? Or something big might come and distract you from doing it. You might lose someone that takes your mind off focus. See, God knows when stuff is about to happen. That's why you get injected with the idea. See, God already knew what was about to happen. Say, listen, you better call him. And I didn't listen to the God in me to make that phone call. And the phone call would have been by like any other. Hey man, what's up? Why you ain't call me before you left? You said you was gonna call me, but you didn't call me. What's up with that? That's how that call was. That's just how me and my brother rolled. You know, you gotta think, I'm the oldest. He's a year younger than me. The next child is 8 years younger than us. So we were boys. We would, you know, we played together, we fought together, and we fought each other at times. So that's why I say, what was the title of the show today? I'll be writing these titles and then like getting inspired to write the title, and I forget. Somebody type what's the title of this kid, because I can't see it here. I don't mean to pour all of this emotion into you to get you to do what you say you're gonna do for yourself, but things get real and real fast, and they take a turn for the. They can take the turn for the best or the worst. And in a moment, that's the dimension we're living in. That's just how it is. And if you know how that is, you got to act on it. Stop playing with your future. Stop playing with the promise that God gave you. Somebody typed the title. I think it was like, the Christ. You know, I didn't have a plan on talking about the history of how I lost my brother. As much as I wanted to choke back those emotions, I couldn't. You know, you got a brother you just was hanging out with, then next you know, almost 30 days later, he's gone. Without, you know, he wasn't sick or anything that we knew of. It says, unveiling the ultimate revelation, realizing the Messiah, unveiling the ultimate revelation. Thank you. Traffic, Baltimore City. Thank you. And as I was talking about what are you waiting for? And you might not get a chance. That popped into my head. What I went through. That's extreme. Just turned 21. I had just turned 22 back in October. His birthday was December. Late December. And that was back in 1992. And that was exactly 30 days prior to my first son being born. Lost someone, we lost a family member, we gained a new family member 30 days later. You see? So I don't believe you ever get to completely, you always got something to work on, right? But I always ask myself, if I had just made that phone call, how would I be feeling about that right now? I will never know. Now, liken that to your business or the things you say. If you don't never act on it, how do you know that it's going to be successful or not? How would you know? You would never know. It would always be a question in your mind. I'm sorry. I don't like having questions. Too many questions left over. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of all of them, but I want to, if I'm focused on where I want to be and what I want to do, and I'm acting on the things that I need to act on, I'll always be at least working on knowing how it's going to work out, which will keep me busy and keep me out of mental trouble, meaning I ain't got time to be worried about other people's business because I'm so concentrated about on my own. I get accused about that all the time. You're always working. Listen, the work that they are referring to is all consciousness, mind work. That's all it is. It's nothing hard about that other than the hard work of keeping myself on track. So what I was saying, realizing the Messiah. First we got to realizing who is this Messiah. The church has told y'all that the Messiah is coming back to fix all your problems. He died for your sins, and one day he's coming back to rescue you. He's going to come fix it all. He's going to take care of everything. And guess what? The church was right. The Messiah is coming back to fix it for you. He's going to rescue you. She going to rescue you. Know why? That Messiah there's only one Messiah that you're waiting on. It's only one. They were right. In the context of it all, they was on point. But where it took a side road or went off tracks is they made you believe that this Messiah was somewhere out there somewhere, who went off somewhere and was coming back. The Messiah that you're waiting on is you. You are the Messiah that you're waiting on to rescue you, because it is only you that can only realize your God power. Your good power and your God power. It's only you. That's what it means to give up your life to Christ. Meaning give up the old thinking, the thinking that has caused you so many problems, placed you in impoverished, not only in finances, but in spiritual impoverishment. That mindset has to die, has to be sacrificed. It has to be convicted and sentenced to death so that you could come back into your true divinity, who you really are, the truth of you. That truth that was buried so long ago, the moment you came into this world and everyone tried to influence you into believing you were something you were not. Think about it. Everybody told you since you was a kid who you were supposed to be, what you're supposed to identify with. Don't you realize this gender identity is just a symptom of that? These younger people, well, why is all these young people falling for that? The reason why they falling for that, because they trying to find their true self. And unfortunately, when you're trying to find who you really are, you stumble on false things when you don't have a foundation of anything to believe in. See, the adults before them didn't give them a foundation or anything, didn't give them true information. So I know they wrong. These youngsters ain't slow. What they're looking at is looking at their parents and all the people coming. This is all we got, going to work for someone, and then they rebelling against that. So in their rebelling, they're picking up all of this misinformation and coming to their own conclusions. And then this is what you get when you don't give people their true identity, when you don't teach them who they really are. What did we do as parents? We sent our kids off to public education, which was designed just to pump out workers. It was never there to create spirituality or show people who their divine self is. And on top of that, it don't even show them how to even navigate life properly. It's our fault why these kids are acting the way they are now. Let's own that. It's all our fault. That's why they don't want to identify with what we taught them, because identifying with what we taught them has got them nothing but problems. So you got to really see, you can't go around judging. 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 Yeah, I think the arguments are ridiculous, but but at the same time, you can't judge. You have to try to seek to have compassion and really understand where they're coming from. And I know exactly where they're coming from when they talk about, because it's all about identity. But if they only knew this, you're only looking for one identity, and that's Christ's identity, that spiritual identity. Once you have the truth that you revealed, everything else falls into place. You don't have to question whether I'm male, female, binary, non-binary. You know, those things it wouldn't be so much convoluted answers. It's either this way or that way. It's nothing in between. Truth is the truth, and nothing but the truth. It don't have all of these colors that they're coming up with. It's truth. Who are you? What is your purpose? See, if they would identify with their Christ consciousness and realize the Christ is in them, the God they're looking for is within them and not outside of them, they would realize what the truth is. See, most people would not understand exactly what I'm saying until they have that revelation. And trust me, you will have that revelation sooner or later. Could be now, or it could be right before you take your last breath. You will have that revelation of the truth. You will know who you are before you leave. You're not going to leave here ignorant of what the truth is. You're not. The whole purpose of it is to come to that realization. Now, at what point you come to realization and start working towards it, it's all up to what you choose to hold fast as truth for you. If you're taking on societal's political and religious viewpoints, you're not going to see the truth. Because there's only one way you're going to get to the truth. Is go off into your secret place and find God there. That's the only place. And that secret place is in the depths, in the consciousness within you. That's the secret place. It's not a physical room, building, church. It's within you, inside of you. Turn within. That's the place where it resides. And so what your only way you're going to get is if you got to shut everything off, shut the phone off, shut the TV off, shut off the family conversations, the friends, the distraction, any distraction you got, and go into silence and ask for the truth. Show me the truth. You know, when I do that, I do see the truth. Now, I have to give you the truth on that as well. It could be a warning. It could be a positive heads up. When you ask for the truth, don't get upset at what you see. Okay? Because once you ask for the truth, you start to see some things that you at first may wanted to resist or not agree with. Because the more you ask for the truth, the more you see that everything that you're dealing with, everything problem, good thing that you're experiencing is all a result of all of the choices of the things that you chose to believe in. And that could be hard hitting for some people who don't like to take accountability. Now, one thing that you could do before you go into this secret place and ask for the truth, create a contract within your consciousness that you will accept the truth no matter what it is. Remember that prayer that Christ had prayed right before he knew he had to go off and do the ultimate task of self-sacrifice? give himself up. He prayed, if I don't have to do this, take this cup away from me. But if it's the truth, show it to me. You gotta be accountable once you see it, because you start to realize this. You'll start to realize really quick that most of this, 99.999999 to the infinite degree of all of this stuff you're dealing with, is on you. No, they ain't on me. He did that. He might have did something. She might have did something. But what contract did you create with the situation by getting upset with it? You created a contract that upset you. Did they upset you, or did you upset yourself by taking offense to what they're doing? No, they just doing what they do with whoever they do it with. It is you that is upsetting you by your position that you take on that situation. No, they not. That's my wife. She ain't supposed to do that. That's my husband. He ain't supposed to do that. No, listen, your wife, your husband going to do whatever they want to do at the time they choose to do it. You better get used to that idea. Can't control people. Now, what you can control is what you're going to allow into your life. See, you can stand there or walk away. You control that. And the true liberation that you would get in any situation that is negative, that they're behaving that is contrary to what you expect into your life, or what you invite into your life, the thing that will liberate you is just to say, they don't owe me nothing, but I owe myself everything to leave here with dignity. See, you only owe yourself respect. No one else owes you that. So if you have respect for yourself, you create, hey, that's what you want to do. Go ahead, have fun. You get to live your life the way you want it, but not with me around. Not with me. See, there's your choice. The choices are very simple. What makes it hard is because we want to get people to change and do whatever. You're not their savior. You're not their Christ. You can only be Christ for yourself. You can only save yourself. You can maybe assist them into seeing some things, but still people are heavily indoctrinated with their lifestyles that they had before they met you. So how are you going to go and change all of that? How are you going to rescue them from that? This indoctrination that they created from their experiences of their parents, whatever, their vices. And there's nothing they can say or you can say that's going to change that. Because their experience is what they experience, and they're going to constantly remember that. And people get triggered by stuff. Oh, they see something, they run for it. They don't care nothing about you and how you feel about it. Wife or no wife, husband or no husband, they don't care. See, once you understand that, they don't. All they care about what they want and what they want to do. So let them do it. Now you have to choose whether you're going to let them do it and you're going to just be there to be a witness of it, or you're going to be out of there. Choice is either here. There's no in between. It's over there, over here. Some of you, the reason why you haven't gotten any progress today is because you didn't cut that off. And you knew you were supposed to. God talked to you. The Christ in you was telling you, in order for you to be delivered, you need to get rid of this. You need to get away from here. When to deliver anybody in the Bible, God said, Abraham, go over here. Lot, go over here. Go over here. Do this. They had to leave family, friends, people they've known for years. One of the ultimate stories of the Bible is Job. He lost all of his children in order to be faithful to his divine self. You will make some sacrifices. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Because as you lose, you gain. Remember the story, I think it was a centurion. He said, what can I do to get into heaven? He said, well, sell all your belongings and then follow me. And he didn't realize Christ wasn't saying give up everything physically. What he was saying is don't make those things more important than your spiritual. Expect to lose them. You might lose them along the way of following me. You might lose that treasure and gain a new treasure. See, some of us have stumbled simply because we won't let go of the old stuff that's attached to the old you. Who were you hanging with? What was you watching? What was you doing that got you all the way to the point where you're about to be evicted? You ain't got no money. You can't keep a job, or things ain't going right. All of that stuff that was involved in there, you're gonna have to fast from it, because that's all connected, and become a new you. And once you become a new you, then those same people that you might have dealt with, grew up with, relationships, whatever, you could probably go back and talk to them from time to time. But now when you're in your Christ mindset, you know how to position yourself in their presence. But in order for Christ to get to that spiritual, back to the spiritual body, what did he have to do? He had to leave. Hey, I was here for you. Hey, I gotta go. This is what I'm doing. Y'all can follow me. I'm showing y'all how to do it. And he came back and visited and then he was gone. And the church been saying they waiting on him ever since he left. Little did the theologists realize Christ was only showing you how to transition yourself from all of this physical distractions and concentrate on the spiritual realm. Operate at a higher level. See, anybody that's thinking Christ is coming back in this physical form or whatever, they're going to be still waiting. And as you can see, they're still waiting. We're going to continue to wait. Generation after generation going to come and go, and they're going to be waiting. But once you understand where Christ is and what Christ really is, he'll come like that. He'll show up. Boom. She'll show up. Once you realize who you are, Christ shows up at that moment. So on the individual level, it's not on a group effort here. This is not a group activity. Spiritual walk is a solo activity. Spiritual saving is a solo activity. Yes, you can have a group of like-minded people kind of encourage you in that right direction. But as you know, any group, I've been a part of different groups, and a group goes on for a while, and people start getting distracted, and eventually you ain't got a group, or no one's believing the same thing you believe. Y'all know, you go to church, everybody's listening to the same pastor every week, teaching stuff, but everybody in that audience has a different interpretation of what he said. For them, why? When they gonna get just, you're unique. So your relationship with the Christ in God is always going to be an individual thing. This is why there's so much confusion throughout religions. We have religious wars because no one ever and will ever believe in God the same exact way as another person. History has shown us that. The evidence is overwhelmingly supporting what I'm saying. That no one believes or will have the same God as the other person. They might have an idea that they got. No, you don't. Reverend Ike was right on that. Number one, he was right in saying you are worshiping or believing in a concept of God. Based on what? What you were taught, what you read, and how you come to your own conclusions. So God must be, you must come to know God on an individual level. And the only way that's going to be individualized for you, you have to spend a lot of time with yourself, contemplating on that and unraveling. Because see, we have so many layers of misinformation and false teachings that you got to take time and meditate and unravel all of that stuff one at a time. So that's the first thing, right? You don't get healthy just by starting to eat healthy. You get healthy by detoxing and purging out all of the toxins that's in you. So any good nutritionist or someone who is trying to get you healthy will tell you first you need to get rid of. You need to fast and get out all of the junk before we put the good stuff in. Right? So now the first job, and I don't hear teachers teaching this way a lot. The first job is to detox the bad spiritual information that you've been getting and figure that out on your own. You could call me and get consultations all day. Yes, I'm going to give you an idea, but remember, my ideas is based on my individualized epiphanies and wow moments that I've had that was specifically designed for me to get. I will never be able to articulate to anyone 100% on that the revelations that I get. When I speak, I just speak things, but I don't really tell you how I got that revelation, where it came from, how it just hit me. I don't get into all of that because I know you're not going to really comprehend that part. Only thing you'll comprehend is only thing you'll be able to comprehend is how I got to that point. And how I got to that point is through meditation and shutting out everything and just asking for the truth. I discovered that many years ago when I asked for the truth and I got it. And I had a wow moment about my relationship with God. And then from then, I've been using that technique ever since. So I tell you, this is how I got it. I just asked for the truth. I didn't want it, and I really meant it. I was really serious about it. Some of y'all say, "Hey, give me the truth," and then, "Oh, I hope I don't. If it's too much, don't give it to me." You're saying that in the back of your mind, so you'll never get the truth that way. C. King Bay says, "Your body being is the original church temple. Everything starts with you." Exactly. You are the temple. You are the synagogue. You're the church, the mosque, all of that. You are everything. Let me say it like this. You are everything and nothing at all. You're all of those. You expand, you contract. Right? Isn't that how your blood flows? It's expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. The whole life is like that. There's a time where you're going to reap a great harvest, and then there's a time when you have to restrict. Then you reap again. Expansion and contraction. The issue that most people have with expansion, they want to expand all the time. They just want I can't have those little ebbs and flows is what teaches you. Teaches you how to have balance. But see, you prepare for that. You prepare for the contraction. There you have it. The Christ is you, nothing but you. And the Christ just means anointed one. You are the anointed one. You are anointed with the task of coming to know who you truly are and what your real purpose is. You are the chosen one. Everyone's the chosen one. Why so many people, most people don't believe they're the chosen one? Because theology has said the chosen one is over there. He up there. He in the mountain. And Christ told you in his own sin, if you say I'm over here, don't believe that. I'm not there. He was really saying, no, I can never be in any of those places. I can only be in one place, and that's within you. Don't look, he's saying basically don't look outside of you. Look within. That's why we fall victim to spiritual con artists, because we're looking outside of us. See, when you start looking everywhere else for the truth other than inside of you, you're asking to be told lies. Even from me, because I can only tell you from my personal experiences and my individualized connection with God. So the only thing I'm teaching you is to become spiritually self-sufficient, meaning look for answers within you. Yeah, can I do paperwork and help you win stuff? And yes, but I always coach this way. Hey, this is just kind of give you the foundation, but the real truth is, you see how you want this case done, go within you, and guess what? You're going to get inspiration. Let me tell you, all the people that I've had real good success with winning cases is, there's one thing they did that caused them to win. The paperwork helped, but what they did was they started studying on their own and realizing and coming to revelations, and the foundation that I gave them, they built upon it and won their cases. So did I really win their cases? I can't take credit for that. Only thing I can take credit for is pushing them to be self-sufficient. That's it. One of my biggest, I won't even say it's my accomplishments, his accomplishments. His brother named, I ain't even gonna say his name on these airways. He had big problems. Much weight in that car. Did some paper, help him do the paperwork, and I did. And he was sending me information to help he was studying. I could see he was really researching. And he figured it out. They ain't bothering. The brother got a nice trucking company. He's living. He's surviving. He's not surviving. He's living abundantly. And know how I know he's doing good? We don't talk all the time. Every now and then, maybe every 6-7 months, he'll check in. I'll check in with him. Know how I know? He's doing great. Someone calls me and say, hey, this brother told me to talk to you. He told me what he went through, and you helped him. That's how. Somebody just called me last week. You see? See, it ain't about the problem. That's the problem. The problem is how you handle the problem is the problem. See, he went within. He studied. He started to get his full understanding, and his energy shut it all down. His energy. We talking about a brother who they took his car apart and found weight in the doors all over the place. Just to give you a hint of what he was dealing with. Red-handed. They left him alone. Point out some defects, and they left him alone. Come on. That's what I'm telling you. If you're going through something that you feel is extreme, I do recommend getting some coaching, but the coaching I'm giving you, I just gave you the tools. You got to go within and see yourself winning that case, and you got to repent too of that false thinking. That because some, like with him, he was living a false life. That wasn't him. He wasn't a drug dealer. That wasn't him. He was doing that. Most people who are doing stuff wrong or things that were committing crimes, they're not that. What they are is someone who's just trying to survive. That's who they are at that point in time. They're just trying to eat and survive, and they think that's the only main means that they have, because no one else showed them the real power of who they really are, how they can command and have dominion over all things. See, you are not the wrong thing that you're doing. That's just a symptom of one problem. You have lost contact with who you truly are. You have lost contact with the Christ within. That's it. You had contact when you were a little baby. You was closer to God than anything. But then parents came in and blocked all that out. When you didn't do what they say, they spanked you into submission. I would say you were domesticated into this 3D realm. You were domesticated away from your spiritual self. You were physically domesticated instead of spiritual. See, there's no domesticating spiritual nature, spiritual consciousness. There's no domesticating that. Spiritual is supreme law. Oldest who says Grand Rising. Who's out there? Traffic Baltimore is out there. In La Vida says peace to all. Road Warrior has a hand clap. Son of the One True King says good day, Hakeem. Same to you. All right. Y'all have what I just said. Hope you can use it. Take time for yourself and connect with your true self, your true Messiah, the true Christ that's within you. With that being said, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Leslie C. Johnson or something like that. And if you are not getting what you desire, you're not happy with things going on in your life, then there's a bad tree somewhere in your midst. And the tree is in your head. There's bad information in there. You're identifying with bad things. You're identifying with things that are giving you unpleasant experiences. So the first tree you need to check and maybe cut down is that negative tree that you have allowed to sprout in your brain or in your mind. A lot of us want to believe that our mind is inside of this organic thing, right? That's where our mind is. But what if I told you your mind is not there at all? That brain brain is just a processor. It's either true or false. It takes information and okay, this is what we need to do. It's basically organic mechanic. Your mind is an energy field that surrounds you about 6 inches in front of you. It's the shield of energy that's why you can come close to people and you start picking up vibes, because you're picking up that energy. That's why when you can take your hand and put it here and you can kind of feel it, not just heat, but you can feel some type of energy surge. Like, see, I can feel that energy surge. That's your, what you call, spiritual radar. See, we so identifying with what we can see and think that's it. What you see is not it. What you see is the end result of your mind. That's the end part. That's the end game, okay? What you're seeing is the result of the manifestation of your consciousness. So if you can disconnect from what you can see and just concentrate on what you can't see, and that's how manifestation happens. That's how you bring about those things that you desire.